Hello, my name is Lucy and I'm an advisor from Citizens Advice Mid Lincolnshire, and I am just going to run through some information about buying second-hand items for your baby or child. And a little bit more information about Citizens Advice, who we are and what we do. We give clients information and advice on issues such as debt, benefits, housing issues. We do a lot of form filling as well. And we do lots of other things sort of in between, and we do have a specialised consumer helpline that runs nationally. We work to empower our clients to face their issues, giving them the information and the confidence to do so. We research and we campaign, so we take a look at what issues are really prevalent in our local area. We can campaign to local and national government about these to try and incite some positive change for our community. We are able to be contacted in quite a few different ways. If you do need any advice, so you can call us. Our advice line number is 0808 278 7942, and that is open Monday to Friday, 9 till 4:30. We run a drop-in session at the municipal buildings on West Street. That's the building you can see in the corner of the slide there, every Tuesday and Thursday morning from 9 a.m. till 12:30. You can pop in there and we can give you advice on the spot, or we may need to schedule a further advice appointment if your issue is a little bit more in depth. You can email us or contact us via web chat on our national website. So our email address is outreach@citizensadvicemidlinks.org.uk, and the Citizens Advice website link is just there too. So in this session, we're going to go through lots of things about buying secondhand items for your children. So there's items that you should and shouldn't buy, or shouldn't use secondhand, why we say that you shouldn't use these items, and tips for buying items secondhand, because buying items secondhand can be great for saving the planet and saving a little bit of money as well. There is a little bit of a trigger warning with this slideshow, so we will be discussing sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, so just in relation to our COTS. If this is going to affect you, you can turn off this presentation or maybe take yourself somewhere else. So there's going to be a little bit of a quiz. What items should you not buy secondhand? Got a few items that are coming up on the screen now. Some of them are okay to buy secondhand, and some we would advise against. Have a think. You've probably got an idea for each of these. Got some clothes, some toys. The results being 3, 2, 1. So things like clothes, toys, and high chairs can be perfectly safe to use secondhand as long as they're free from hazards and are in a good condition. However, we do advise against buying secondhand mattresses, car seats, and bicycle helmets. And we're going to go into a little bit more information about this on the next few slides. So with car seats, research conducted by Which stated that almost a quarter of respondents to their 2024 baby survey had a secondhand car seat, even though it's not advisable for safety reasons. So we're just wanting to spread a little bit of awareness of the potential dangers and risks involved. With car seats, we advise you not to use a second-hand one. It's not always obvious if a car seat has been in an accident and the damage might not be visible. And car seats are designed to protect your baby in an accident, and previous damage could make them unsafe and cause your baby to be injured more severely in comparison to a car seat that was bought new and is in a good, safe condition. Car seats could have been dropped, so the accident didn't have to come from a car accident. It could have been dropped, bashed, or had something else happen to it before it was in your possession or when it was being used. So damage that isn't visible can make car seats unsafe and unable to fully protect your baby. The harness may have deteriorated or be unsafe through wear and tear, again making the car seat unsafe. There is also constantly updating safety standards to make sure your car seat is as safe as possible for your baby. So older car seats, ones that have been used secondhand or from family members or previous children, may not comply with the latest child seat laws or safety regulations. Even if you know the history of the seat, it could have come from a family member or a friend. Wear and tear over time can affect the safety of a car seat. So it is still best to buy this thing new. Next, we're moving on to baby mattresses. Cot mattresses can lose their firmness over time, so this can make the mattress a lot softer, which can cause sagging and a poor fit in the cot. This can increase the risk of a baby rolling onto its side and suffocating. There is also the potential for hidden hazards, as the history of the mattress may be unknown. For example, if it hasn't been cleaned properly or has been exposed to allergens, smoke, or mold. Bike helmets. As with car seats, bicycle helmets may have hidden damage through being dropped or being in an accident, which can put your child at risk. Older helmets may not meet the safety standard EN 1080, which requires a chin strap that can be snapped off to prevent choking or strangulation. In addition, helmets can degrade over time due to exposure to UV sun rays and other environmental factors, which can weaken the impact absorption. So if your child is in an accident on their bike, this cannot provide the protection that they'd need. So buying second-hand items can be a really, really good way to save money and the planet. But if you are going to buy second-hand items, please make sure that you can find the instructions. So you can often find them online from the manufacturer's website, or if they are with the product when it's being sold. Safety standards. So making sure that the product meets the relevant British safety standards is really important. This should be stated on the product itself, on the label, or on the product's packaging. Product recalls. So the government often recalls things for safety reasons, and you can check that your product hasn't been recalled on the government website. They have, if you search in the search bar product recalls, it should come up, and it will allow you to filter through to select just baby items, or allow you to search the product name of something you're thinking of using with your baby. Make sure that any product you buy secondhand is in good condition with no broken or missing parts. A broken or missing part may affect the safety of an item, and if it's not clean, that can also affect the safety of the item. Any secondhand items should come from a smoke and pet-free home, as these can affect how clean the product is and free from allergens and smoke damage. So just a little bit more information now about pushchairs and specific items you may buy secondhand. Before you reuse a pushchair that you've had for an older child, or if you've bought one secondhand, please make sure that the brakes are working, that the wheels are lined up correctly, and all folding parts work smoothly. The locking mechanism for the frame is really important to make sure that works, so the pushchair won't collapse when your baby's in it. You need to ensure that there's no rust or flaking paint or chrome coating. This could be ingested or cause a hazard to your child. Just go back there. The fabric needs to be in good condition with no tears, rips, or exposed padding. The handles and the frame don't have any unusual bends or kinks. This can affect the stability of the frame and the metal and can make the item less safe to use. The pushchair needs to have a 5-point harness to meet current safety standards. This normally has 2 straps at the waist, crotch strap, and 1 strap over each shoulder that fastens by your baby's belly. Now then, moving on to high chairs. So if you're buying a second-hand high chair or using one that you had before for a previous child, please make sure that it's still stable. One for a wide base is usually better for this. It will need to be sturdy, so a metal or wooden frame is normally a bit better for this. So an entirely plastic high chair might not be as sturdy. It needs to not be missing any screws, tubing caps, or bolts. and check that anything isn't coming loose, because these little parts could turn into a choking hazard or affect the stability of the high chair. All locks and catches need to be in good working order. The tray should be removable, but it should lock on to the high chair and your child shouldn't be able to pull this off. The high chair should have no sharp edges or cracks on the plastic that could hurt your baby. There should be no exposed foam on the padded parts, no flaking paint or anything that your baby could splinter. The 5-point harness would also need to be present on the high chair, the same way as with a pushchair, so 2 waist straps, 2 shoulder straps, and a crotch strap that fastens around your child's belly. And if you're going to buy a second-hand stair gate, just bear these things in mind. The bars or slats on a stair gate should be no more than 5.5 centimetres apart. That is to meet the current safety standard, which is BSEN 1930. The stair gate shouldn't be damaged or badly worn, and there should be no holes that could trap fingers or footholds that your child could use to climb. No sharp edges or things sticking out that could cut or catch. The stair gate needs to be fitted firmly in place with no more than 5 centimetres between the stair gate and the floor. Locks would need to be working correctly and will need a bit of force and 2 different types of actions to open them to ensure that they're secure. You should also ensure that no one's painted or varnished the gate since it was last used. So anything additional added on following it coming from the manufacturer, the finish might contain hazardous chemicals that have not been tested for safety for use with children. Moving on to cots. So you may want to reuse your old cot or purchase a second-hand one. Just refamiliarize yourself with the manufacturer's instructions if you're using an old one, or research them if you've bought a second-hand one. Remember, it may be a good idea to replace the mattress, as older mattresses can sag and not fit correctly. A second-hand cot, any cot, should be at least 50 centimetres from the mattress top to the top of the rails. It will need vertical bars with no more than 6 centimetres of space between them. For the cot to be less than 10 years old and have a firm base. It allows no more than 2 fingers between the side of the mattress and the edge of the cot. This is to prevent a baby falling into the side or any suffocation risk. If the cot has a drop-down side mechanism, it's important to make sure it works properly. You should be confident this is secure and won't drop accidentally. If in doubt, it's safer to not use this. The cot should not have a headboard or footboard. There should be no knobs or corner posts, and if there are and you've sawn them off, you will need to make sure it's sanded smooth and doesn't have any splinter or sharp edges. Baby safety gates. With baby safety gates, there's 2 types. There's one that is a pressure fit, which has little plates that you screw out and they just fit against the wall. And there are ones that are fitted with a screw design that you fasten directly to the wall. The core difference is how they're attached to the wall and a trip bar at the bottom. With a pressure fit gate, so the type you don't need to screw into the wall, they have a bar at the bottom. And this can be a trip hazard, so shouldn't be installed anywhere where it might be dangerous. So this is particularly at the top of a flight of stairs. Screw fit gates are designed in a similar way to a barn door and with a locking mechanism, so they don't typically have that trip bar and are safer for use at the top of the stairs. So here's just a slide with a bit of to show the difference. This is the trip bar at the bottom of the pressure fit gate, the black bit below, and this can be a tripping hazard. So if this is more suitable for use in doorways, and a wall mounted gate you can see is screwed into the wall, and this whole panel will swing out, so there'll be no trip bar at the bottom, making it safer for use with stairs. Now then, that kind of brings us to the end of this presentation. Just got a few frequently asked questions about safety of baby products. So buying toys from TikTok shop. Lots of these can be okay, But it's best to do your research first and to make sure that the items comply with British safety standards. If this is not detailed in the product listing, or you cannot find any information on what safety standards the product meets, it's a good idea to go and find something from a brand name you know and that you can access this safety information. Sometimes products get recalled, and these will be listed on the government's website. And you can go onto the government website and search product recalls and search in any product that you may want to use with your baby. Can babies have soft toys in their cribs? Please don't let your baby sleep with any soft objects, including stuffed animals, cot bumpers, pillows, other bedding, toys, as this can increase the risk of sudden infant death syndrome or SIDS and death by suffocation or strangulation. It's best to wait until your baby is at least 12 months old before introducing any of these items. For any more information on this, you can contact the Lullaby Trust, and they have lots of information. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. Thank you for watching. If you have any queries relating to the content of this presentation or a particular item, please contact us. We have a consumer helpline that may be a better place to answer your query. So the consumer helpline number is 0808 223 1133, and they are open from 9 till 5 Monday to Friday, and they close on bank holidays. Or I will just take the slide back to our contact details, and you can contact us directly, and we can have a chat through any queries you may have. Thank you very much.